Well, good morning. Walter here, the sage living down here in Lima, Peru. This is the second time I've tried to do this. As you can probably see if you're going through the files here on YouTube. And what a great podcasting tool. I'm using a new Sony laptop. And with all the bells and whistles and programs in Spanish I certainly don't understand, but I'm working on it. The purpose of this podcast, and I didn't know what that meant until I looked it up at Wikipedia, and a podcast is nothing but publishing one's thoughts over the internet as opposed to the printed page. And it's wonderful today that we can do both. For the newspaper that started out years ago, well, in 1985, called Farmers and Traders Intermountain News and Review. And the purpose of that publication basically is to explore we know that, or at least we're taught that there's a correlation and a relationship between truth and liberty, truth and freedom, and we're living in the age of deception where we really don't know what the hell's going on. For Americans, we're pretty much dumbed down, busy, preoccupied, and that sort of thing. So I would encourage today we're confronted with individuals that, as we, have different worldviews, and I think we need to understand that in order to understand how they think and how they review a news article or a given event from their perspective as opposed to ours. An example would be as an American, and we need to examine these words in our conversations. What does it mean to be American, or what does it mean to be a German, or what does it mean to be a Peruvian, for that matter, or whatever? We really have to analyze these terms. And so insofar as an American is concerned, well, where did the word come from? We could start there, and then who lived here first, and then we can examine our foundational documents. And in our particular case, as I've said many times, that if you're an American, that presumes that you're probably a faith person, and your faith probably emanates or is founded on Scripture. Scripture meaning what? Scripture meaning the Bible. Well, the Bible meaning what? Well, and then which translation, and so on and so forth. But we, in trying to determine who we are in terms of our nationality, in terms of, what does that mean to be an American or a German or a Jew, for that matter, an Israelite or whatever, for the purpose of just discussing American, we can only answer that in terms of a review of our foundational documents, starting with the Mayflower Compact, and then moving all the way up to the formalization of our our government, when the original colonies came together and decided that they needed, it would be better to have a government. So, and remembering that they were under colonial powers at that time, like King George. And so Madison and Jefferson drafted the Declaration of Independence. But the preamble to that is really critical, because you will not understand the Declaration of Independence and the formal Constitution and Bill of Rights, which ensued out of that, without examining the first one, the preamble. The preamble is very important because therein it states that you've been endowed by and that was the purpose of the first 10 amendments, and that's why the ratification of the Constitution was held up for some time until these chains written down and described and codified, these chains around the federal government, so that they couldn't usurp your rights, which came from God, which now has, thanks to our good Congress, our fascist and I could go on and on and on about that, but anyway, stay tuned with us and check out our website, www.frfoundation.net. That's FRFOUNDACION.net, and then our blog, and we're posting all kinds of stuff on that blog, things that we think that if you have time, consider them, because they're going to provoke some thought. And our blog is www.frfperu.blogspot.com. And then we'd enjoy some feedback, of course. I don't know, too bad, do I? Well, anyway, a little humor there on the side. Yeah, we're looking down the gun barrel of some very rough times, and to hear others and their viewpoints from, let's say, Australia or from England or from China, the potential of China getting out of the dollar. Down here, we're watching the dollar just go straight down. Exciting times to be living in. Very exciting times to be living in. But I think we all need to determine where we are in the course of human events, and then be sure that we're going to be able to deal with what may lay down the road. So anyway, I'll close this